How valuable is copper? For thieves, it is worth hundreds of dollars, but for someone who is sick, it could cost a life.
And more than 6 months after the July flood, many disaster relief groups have moved on to help others. But one North Carolina group is sticking around.
And the possibility for showers continuing through this evening and into tonight. Details on when showers of another type may work in as well coming up as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
One Eastern Kentucky Sheriff's Office is doing what they can to rein in the increase of copper thefts taking place across their county.
WYMT's Alyssa Williams was in Martin County to learn more about this issue.
Since last year, the Martin County Sheriff's Office has seen numerous cases of copper theft across the county, with the department arresting 13 suspects in the last few months.
You know, it may be in Tomahawk tonight, tomorrow night it may be in Pigeon Roost, and there's just so many doing it. When you have people that get by with it, they see that their buddies getting by with it, then they start doing it.
Martin County Sheriff John Kirk says people are acquiring the copper through cable and phone lines. Individuals are cutting the lines, retrieving the copper, and then selling it to scrap yards for up to $4 a pound.
With what they're making, they may make $200 or $300 off the copper that they steal tonight, but it may cost the phone company $10,000 or $15,000 to put it back.
This can ultimately cause customers to pay more for their bill, but it can also cost people in the area much more than that.
My chief deputy was there investigating, and an elderly man who has a lot of health issues actually broke down and cried. And he said, you know, I don't have access to a phone. I'm a sick man, and I don't have access to a phone. You know, I'm afraid that if they keep cutting our phone lines, that when I need an ambulance, that I'll die before they get here.
Those with the Sheriff's Office say without the manpower to fully assess this issue, they need help from the community.
If they see anything suspicious, anybody around any power lines that are not marked AT&T or AEP or a power company that look like they're tampering with or cutting the lines, to call us immediately.
Martin County Sheriff's Office officials say this responsibility also falls on the scrap yards. If they fail to report someone trying to sell stolen copper, Sheriff Kirk says there will be consequences for them as well. In Martin County, Alyssa Williams, WYMT Mountain News.
Martin County Sheriff John Kirk says he has been in contact with the FBI to discuss this ongoing issue as well. He is looking to see if the copper theft can be considered a form of domestic terrorism, which can dramatically alter how people are charged with this crime. We have an update to a story we have been following since 2020. Cumberland police posted on social media that 2 people have been convicted for the murder of Wilmer Perez. Perez went missing in April 2020 after he left work at Cezanne Mexican restaurant. His body has never been found. A jury has recommended a 20-year sentence for both Derek Pauley and Fess O'Neill Pauley. Sentencing will take place on March 2nd.
A Shelbyana man was sentenced to life in federal prison yesterday on drug charges. 38-year-old Justin Bryant was convicted of distributing drugs, including fentanyl, that killed one person and conspiring with others to distribute drugs. Evidence presented at trial revealed that Bryant smuggled drugs into the Pike County Detention Center. Officials with the United States Attorney's Office said this conviction is the most recent of 30 criminal convictions Bryant has received during the past 20 years.
Well, many of us dry right now, but the cloud cover is with us, and the potential for a few more showers works in tonight, plus the potential for quite a bit of wind on the way. Outside right now from downtown Hazard, overlooking Triangle Park, you see we're right around 60 at this point, and that's where most of us are. Here's the view from downtown Somerset. The clouds are in place. The lights on the cars are on. It's 63 in Somerset right now. Most of us upper 50s to near 60, few lower 50s where the clouds have hung on tough a little bit more today across the Cumberland Valley area. Few showers trying to get going across southwest Virginia, eastern parts of Pike County, but the vast majority of the activity is still out to our west. I think in many cases we keep it out to the west, but a few showers. Will have that possibility to see those tonight, early tomorrow, as those winds start to crank up late. Mid-50s out there. I'll have the very latest on how high those winds could gust and when perhaps even some more wintry weather tries to sneak on into the region in a few minutes. Olivia?
Thank you, Evan. It has been more than 6 months since the July flooding, and recovery is still expected to take years. Many have asked the question, what happens now that many disaster relief groups are gone? Well, one group out of North Carolina is doing their part to ensure Eastern Kentucky is not forgotten. I caught up with them today at one of their job sites to learn more about their relief efforts. During a time when hope seemed hard to find, Eastern Kentuckians saw many people rise to the occasion.
Local volunteers and volunteers from Texas, from Louisiana, Missouri, Arkansas, North Carolina.
Over the past 6 months, the mountains have had hundreds of relief groups from across the country come in to help, but now very few remain, except one organization known as Rise Disaster Relief and Recovery. They still have their boots on the ground.
The focus is always very big, very extensive at the beginning of a storm, when the storm hits. But after 2-3 months, that support wanes, and then the people are left holding the bag, people that cannot afford to do anything.
Rise volunteers choosing to weather the storm, returning again and again to continue helping Eastern Kentucky.
We're just constantly working, and right now, as Joe said, we're in the recovery process where we're trying to get people back in to home, because I can't imagine, especially the elderly and the children, you know, how unstable it is.
Harvey is a Breathitt County native and connected with Rise after the flood, saying she sees the need for help and knows Rise will not let Eastern Kentucky be forgotten.
There's people that still care, and that's the key right there. It's still devastation everywhere. We have got to get more volunteers. We need donations so bad.
Volunteers like Joe, not from Kentucky, but sticking around because he still sees a heartbreaking amount of devastation.
No matter how strong you think you are, you do break down.
Completely captivated and driven to help Eastern Kentuckians.
We're touched by the people that are here, that are in dire need. The other day, I caught myself telling my wife I'm home when I got here, because that's the way it feels.
Harvey says they are still getting constant calls from people who still need help. She added donations are vital during this time, anything from food, building materials, money, and more boots on the ground. If you would like to help, you can find more information on our website, WYMT.com.
Well, coming up, more showers, yes, expected tonight and into tomorrow, too. The latest breakdown from Future View on that and breezy conditions coming up. Plus,
legislators in Frankfort send legislation to Governor Beshear that would lower the state income tax.
And the Pikeville Fire Department is getting some new equipment. Why it will require some new training.